All right, good afternoon. It's Thursday, September 23rd, 2021. It's 12:09 Eastern Standard Time. So, wow, 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 wow. Okay, we're getting this rally. Um, Man, a lot of opportunities this morning. Let's dive in. So, this morning provided a lot of great opportunities. Now, just keep in mind, same as yesterday, same as the week before, and the week after, a week prior to that. We're looking at a 15-minute time frame. You can utilize this system to other time frames. You just have to look at it from the 50-day moving average. So what we're using is the 4, the 10, the 20, and the 50. Most importantly, the 4 and the 50 and MACDs. All right, so let's dive in. So, wow, the Fed spoke yesterday at 2:30. The market reacted positively. Basically, a lot was discussed. You can just Google it. But basically, on the 15-minute chart, we were looking for these breakouts of 44.04. The other one's 44.30, as I expressed all yesterday and today. And the S&P is roughly right above here. I can't even watch it. So let's zoom in here. But basically, see if I can. There we go. It's at 44.51. So what a great trade today. So upon today at the breakout, you can see it gapped open at 44.16. We had a MACD bounce. If you took that trade, you know it's going to beeline into 44.30, and it went beyond to 44.50. So the MACD's a great entry is dying down right now on the 15-minute chart. So as you can tell, it's holding that 44.50 area. But basically this morning, if you took that trade, man, your kudos to you. Congratulations. You knew exactly where momentum was heading. And it went from 44.14 to 44.50. You locked in some gains there. Congratulations. The NASDAQ, same type of thing. Market reacted positive. We said that we're going to look at these highs from the day before and by breaking out. It filled in this gap. It filled in this gap at 152.90 and beyond. But basically, oh, by the way, the XPX also filled in that gap. So again, that 44.30, that's where I got that number from. But basically, also the Nasdaq gapped higher. We had a MACD bounce right here, and it went off to the races. It looks like it's dying out. Remember, things seem to be dying out around lunch. So this was the morning move. So now, what do? We have to wait and see for the after lunch move. And more likely, it's probably going to pull back a little bit, and then we're going to go into the power hour, the last hour of trading, to see which way are we going to head. Are we going to continue down and pulling back, or are we going to continue higher, or we're going to linger in this area and see what happens tomorrow, which is Friday. The Russell, the strongest one, this one gave it a strong indication yesterday. So again, people jumped ahead of the Fed on this thing. So the talk about tapering by I think by next year, it should be done. And basically, this will probably help out the banks, the possibility of raising interest rates. So again, this will help out the banks. So again, the Russell, it's reacting very, very positive. Did you have an opportunity this morning? Yep, you did. Right here, a bounce right here, break up yesterday's highs, and you had a MACD bounce. Now, this thing is probably going to die out like the rest of us, and let's see what happens after the market, after lunch, and also power hour. But again, you had an amazing opportunity this morning. Um, More than likely, you have one yesterday too. If we did the 50-day, if you took the trades near the 50, you have one here. Again, I wouldn't take a trade here because we're too far from the 50. Okay, we're too far from the 50, too far from the 50. More likely, it needs to pull back and meet up with the 50. Same type of thing. So again, if you want to take a trade, more than likely, a pullback would be imminent. That's what I would recommend. Alphabet. We took this trade yesterday, and again, congratulations, 22.90. You're sitting roughly this morning at 28.30. So congratulations on that. Again, I wouldn't take this trade or add to it. Like all the markets, we are overextended, and like I said earlier in the week, if the markets broke out, right, broke out their levels, that these stocks are the ones that are going to excel. So congratulations on Google. More likely, we see the MACDs pulling back. Let it pull back. Let's see what happens. And there'll be another opportunity when it hits near the 50. Or do you want to take a contra trend trade on the 15-minute chart to the 50? That'd be a good trade too. So Amazon, this morning, I took this trade. I announced it right here. Why the 50? We had a MACD bounce, and basically it was off to the races. I love this trade. I actually zoomed in on the 1 minute and the hour charts to kind of confirm that too. But basically, we did some trades there. We got a quick double. I forget which ones we bought, but that was a quickie. Tesla, I was looking for setting up this Tesla trade because it pulled back to the 50. But we got out of our trade earlier. Why? Because this 762 is a strong area, right? Right in here. So more likely we didn't really hit that. We hit the 760 mark, but that was close enough. But basically, these levels are pretty hard, and we're pretty far away from the 50. So it needs to pull back. So that was a nice trade. I was trying to get into a trade for next week, but it didn't come to fruition. But I'm waiting to see what happens here. The 747 is holding. Um, I want to see if momentum can shift from downward to upward, and I might take a trade soon, maybe after lunch, if this changes gears and let the market pull back a little bit. But as you can tell, money was coming into Tesla when the market was dropping. So this was a super, super nice trade if you got into that. Um, Again, just looking for a setup to back to the 50, which is about 750. We're at 747, 750 there. So we're about 754. So looking at that, ISRG, man, this was a great trade early in the week. We said it was going to hit 1,000. It broke here, went back to the 50, lingered at the 50, and yesterday morning, if you, I didn't take this trade, but you could have taken a trade and bounce off the 50, and you would have had a nice low profit. It gave you a little extra today. It looks like it's still running, right? It still can run. We're going to be looking at this 1050. We've been having a hard time breaking above that. So if you're in this trade, I will probably consider probably locking in some gains and maybe add to it if we break the 50, or we might pull back. Um, Chipotle, great setup here. We mentioned this one earlier in the week, but basically, again, just another, we broke the 50. MACD broke above zero. This is super, super bullish. We hit this 1957 area. I got out of my trade this morning. And just looking for another potential entry. I didn't take the trade to the downside. I was satisfied with my entry, but you could have taken this trade from from the put side all the way down because the MACDs are telling me this had a run. Remember, all roads lead back to the 50. We've been away from the 50 for about 2 days, and it needs to come back. So again, we had a lot of opportunities here. All right, so let's dive in. Let's look at Apple. So Apple here, I mentioned earlier in the week that we needed to close this gap. Let me get out of here. Let's go to crosses. I needed to close this gap here, and we got it yesterday, right? So that was a nice little trade. If you took that trade, we saw supply right in here at 141. Is it going to come back up? I said yes, it's probably going to come back to the 50 around 148. We're at 146. So if you took that trade, that's great, but be wary around this area because the overall market, if it pulls back, Apple's more likely is going to come back with it. The momentum on Apple currently is down. Okay, so this is going to be a lower low compared to these low, even though there is demand right here. I want to know how far is the supply going to be. So right now is momentum dying out. Is it going to hit the 50? Yesterday we got the hourly chart. The hourly gave us a nice little entry because we noticed that momentum was shifting. Actually, was it yesterday? Yesterday, right here, probably earlier part of the day, around 144. As I mentioned, if we zoom in on the 15-minute chart, it gave us a clear indication that it was holding the 50 as base. And this is the 15-minute, this is the hourly, this is daily. And this was a nice trade to take. Around 43, you're probably sitting around 147. Again, Apple doesn't move as fast as the other stocks, but it's very, very liquid. So you can make a nice dollar, $2, $3 on these option trades if you want to trade them. So as far as trading options real quickly, this is where you can make your money right in here. Here, you can too, but here you have to give yourself a little bit more time. But right now, currently, Apple is downtrending. Now, I did see the MACDs, this is the daily, that it is trying to form a base. The challenge here is we're below zero, so that is currently bearish. So if the blue line hits the white line and it bounces down, and it hits the 50 and bounces down, more likely we're probably going to go back down and test these lows again. So again, however, if it hits zero and it breaks through, the blue line breaks zero and breaks above zero, then more likely we're going to break this 50. Now remember, um, even if it breaks, it needs to come back and retest the 50 as a support bounce. What do I mean by that? It goes up, bounces, and then goes back up, forming a higher low, telling us that the bottom is in. So again, just I would just wait to see, let the market or let the action tell you how to trade. But those are the scenarios that we have. Keep an open mind. All right, GME. So GME again. I mean, here's the thing with GameStop and AMC, but GME, despite the market fluctuations, it held strong here. So it really didn't do anything. So 196, 195, it kind of just leveled out. So it's holding this 50-day. This is the 1 day. This is the 15-minute chart. I'm going to switch this to a hourly chart because it's not really moving. But the hourly chart, we're below this 50-day moving average, right? We're below this 50-day moving average. So let's see what happens around 194. Again, we're still below on the daily. We're still below the VWAP and the market profile here. Let me extend this outward a little bit more. Yep, we're still below that. So just chilling, just hanging out. So if you hold this stock, I'll probably sell calls against it. Make some money, bring it in, but it's not really moving, which is good and bad. But you can leverage that if you own that stock. Same thing with AMC. AMC did pull back a little bit more significantly than others, from 52 back down to 37. It is above zero. It looks like it's trying to form a base here, and it's bouncing off the 50. So let's see if it can go back up to these levels here. Now, there is supply right at this level at $48 to 52. So just be wary of that if you're going to take a trade. And yeah, just be wary of that. So right now, as far as AMC on the hourly charts, let's see if we can get above the 50. But this looks good. Momentum's on the side. If we can get above the 50 and above zero, bounce down and bounce, or is it going to come back down? So keep that in mind. All right, let's look into Bitcoin. Bitcoin, as I told you yesterday, there is demand around this $40,000 area. So it is coming back up. MACDs are still turning. It's seeing if this is a base. I don't know if it is or yet or not. But basically, we're going to be looking at this 200 days not there. Okay. But we're looking at this 50-day, and it is below the 200-day. I do know that. But we're going to be looking at that. So again, is this the bottom here for the short-term pullback? Possibly, possibly, but we need momentum too. We need some breakthroughs here. It looks like it's running out of steam right now. Let's see how low it can go. Now, the other scenario here, this is still bearish. It's a little below the zero. So if it comes back up and bounces, come back down and form a double bottom or continue lower. So keep that in mind. MicroStrategy is showing you again during strength and weakness now. Okay, this is this weakness. It went all the way up and down. This is MicroStrategy is coming back down. It's at the 50, but this is dependent on Bitcoin. Okay, so if Bitcoin goes down, this is going to go down. So that's pretty much the name of MicroStrategy. So keep in mind of Bitcoin. If Bitcoin starts to rally, then this could bounce off the 50. Okay, Ethereum, same type of thing. Um, Again, it's showing me there's a lot of supply right up in here, this 31,000 area, 30, 31, and there is demand right in here, this 30,000. So again, we're right in the middle. Let's see what happens. The MACDs are kind of showing me indecision. It's telling me we're right in the middle. We're above bullets. Let's see if we can bounce here, but we are below the 50. So I'm noticing that momentum currently is going down. They're selling this thing off. It is trying to form a base here. Let's see if it can form it. All right, what else do we have here? That's about it. Let me look at the indices, the overall indices, just to kind of show you. on the daily chart. So now I'm going to go dailies. So dailies here, again, we're at this 50-day moving average. Let me go across. We're at this 50 days. So can we hold the 50, which is around 44.40, right? We're currently at 44.53. The MACDs are turning. It's telling me that this base could turn. Um, let's see how high it can go. Right now, there's a lot of buying into this thing. It looks like it wants to turn. I don't know how high is it going to go. Next level here is 44.85. So we're going to be looking at that area because this is where the supply was right in here. Let's look at the NDX. NDX looks much stronger. You can tell by the text. The techs are rallying, but basically this level held. There was a supply right at this level at 14,800, and we closed the gap. Now it is bouncing, so this is more of a clear 50-day moving average bounce. And more likely, where are we going to go? We're probably going to go to this level of 15.1, right? 15,500 right in there, 15,530. Then next level above that will probably be around this 15,680 right in there. Russell, much stronger than all of them, and it needed to be strong because it needed to be above the 200-day moving average, right? Right now, currently, uh, we were about to venture on what's called a death cross, which is a 50 crossing over the 200-day. It looks like it got saved, but we're still not out of the woods yet. So again, it still needs to go above the 50-day, which is around 22.22. Here it is right there. We're at currently at 22.18. But if we can close above the 50, then it's looking pretty good. If this bounces, again, when it's above zero, it can go either way because it can come back up and then hit the 50 and then turn back down. And if it goes back down, we're probably going to be looking at these lows of 21.20. So there is going to be an opportunity to trade here. And now all of these, I'm looking at the daily. So again, give yourself a little bit extra time. The VIX, man, the VIX was at 28. We had a nice blow off here, and it's coming back down. It's still above the 50. So it's telling me that fear had dissipated. That's what we're seeing the rally in the marketplace. However, um, below 18 has been normal in this time frame. Now we are currently just at that level. We hit below 18 earlier in the day. We're now at 19, which is coincides with the market pulling back. But pretty much that's all we have right now. Um, Man, good job. And basically just be patient and let's go get it. All right, guys, stay tuned for tomorrow and we'll see you tomorrow.